Welcome to A-Level Media at Harris Academy, Beckenham. I'm Miss Kelly and I'm one of the teachers on the course. For media, we look at a wide variety of topics all relating to the UK media industry. We look at topics such as how we targeted as audiences. We also look at who owns the media. We also look at representation and how different groups in the society are represented and whether or not this is fair. We also look at how the media shapes our own ideas around society. The course also includes a practical production project, which you will be seeing a few examples of work of in a minute. To get onto the course, you will need at least a grade 5 in English. You don't necessarily have to have studied media before, but you will need a grade 6 in a related subject such as art or history. I hope you enjoy the upcoming film and thank you for watching. A-Level Media Studies at Harris Academy, Beckenham is a 2-year course and the examining body we use is EDUCAS. We study lots of different media texts, including TV programmes, magazines, video games, film, newspapers, radio. We cover the whole range of media. There are 2 exams at the end of the 2 years, and you will also complete a project, media production, which is a magazine double page spread and front cover and a music video. I will be showing you some examples at the end of this presentation. There are 2 teachers, myself, Miss Kelly and Miss Goulds, and we have very high expectations of all our students. So as I said, there are 3 components to the course, 2 exams and 1 cross-media production. The first component looks at a wide range of different media products, and you'll be asked questions about lots of different media products. However, in component 2, it's based on 3 media products, and you'll be asked in-depth questions about those. Component 3 is the cross-media production, which you complete at the end of year 12. Here is an example of some of the products that we study. So we look at film posters, we look at film, we look at music videos, we look at newspapers, we look at advertising from the current time, and we also look at advertising from the 1950s and how that's changed. We look at TV programmes, we look at online media, so lots of different examples of media. So if you think not so interested in TV, but I am interested in online media, we've got something for everyone. The main areas that we study when looking at the media are the 4 theoretical perspectives, and they are media language, media industries, media audiences, and representation. And you'll be introduced to these concepts in the first weeks of the course, and then we will go on to study each of these things for all of the different texts that we look at. Just to give you a little taste of some of the things that we look at, I'm now going to talk you through power and media industries. And this is quite a big topic that we look at within the course. So we look at key terms like monopoly, which is the exclusive ownership or control of something. And here is an example of what monopoly might look like. So we've got the game Monopoly, but we've also got a symbol of how Disney has quite a hold over the media industry, as 4 of the biggest movies in the last 20 years were produced by Disney. Now, Disney is one of the big 6 media conglomerates, and it owns multiple subsidiaries, such as all of these. Now, this is just a few of the different companies that they own, and you might be surprised
by some of it. Like ABC is owned by Disney. ESPN is owned by Disney. Marvel is now owned by Disney. The History Channel is owned by Disney. So they have quite a hold on the media industry. And there are just 6 main companies that produce 90% of the media that we consume. So these are subsidiaries. Can you guess which conglomerate owns them? So it's CNN, Hulu, DC, Warner Brothers, New Line Cinema. Who do you think owns them? It's one company. It's Time Warner. Now, which conglomerate owns these? You might know this one. It's a very famous man who owns this company. He owns The Sun, The Times, Fox, Sky, HarperCollins, and that is News Corp, which is owned by Rupert Murdoch. We also study theories and apply these to media as part of the course. And Cohen and Seaton are 2 theorists who we study in depth when we're looking at the media industry. Sorry. One of the things that Cohen and Seaton said is that it, meaning the media, extends their range of business and political connections, increases their corporation's prestige, and through judicious editorial appointments contributes to the maintenance of public opinion favourable to private enterprise. So basically what they're saying is media companies buy more and more and more companies, so they become bigger and bigger and bigger, which means they become more and more powerful and more influential within the world. If we think about it, News Corp, which is owned by Rupert Murdoch, owns The Sun, which is the biggest selling newspaper in the UK, which means he has quite a hold over the opinions that we see in the newspaper. And another thing we also look at is that conglomerates are primarily driven by profit and power. So it's not about what we want as consumers, it's about what makes the most profit for them. So one of the issues with a conglomerate owning multiple media companies, I'm about to illustrate. So if we look at this, got News Corp, we know, and that's Rupert Murdoch. We know that they own a lot of different media companies. So for example, they own 20th Century Fox, which produced these 2 films, Interstellar and X-Men Origins. Now he also owns The Sun. Now, how did they link, you might ask? Well, The Sun, funnily enough, was very positive about both Interstellar and X-Men Origins. Star quality, Nolan's sci-fi epic Interstellar is truly original. Clause for thought. So because News Corp owns both these companies, they can both produce the films and market them in a really positive way. So you might not see an issue with that, but some people might see an issue with that. So just some of the things that we might want to think about in terms of having a monopoly are that a monopoly means domination of multiple media industries. If the focus is on creating profit, generally conglomerates don't take risks with the media they produce. And this often results in limited variety, creativity, and quality. Now, you might think, no, we have loads of television, there's loads of media to choose from. But have you ever sat down in front of the TV or in front of your computer and thought, I want to watch something, but there's just nothing on? How can that possibly be? Now, the antidote to the conglomerates is public service broadcasting. And this is broadcasting intended for public benefit rather than to serve purely commercial interests. Now, British broadcasting, when it started, was started as a public service. And this proved as creative commercially as it was innovative culturally. Now, I don't know if you know this, but our public service broadcasting company is the BBC. They're also, you could say they were a conglomerate. They own lots of different types of media and they produce lots of different types of media. However, because they're not primarily driven by profit and power, they can produce different things that perhaps appeal to a more niche audience. So the BBC was set up in 1922 and its mission was to inform, educate and entertain. It is government owned and paid for by the taxpayer. So we pay for that, for the BBC through the licence fee. That's why it doesn't have any advertising on any of its channels. It aims to represent the diversity of the UK, sustain citizenship and stimulate culture and creativity. Does it do that? That's another question. We also have independent producers. So producers that aren't owned by a massive conglomerate. And this means that they're free from the control of a conglomerate. The main independent producer in this country is Channel 4 and Film 4. And what they said they would do is, we will reflect the diversity of Britain culturally and geographically. We will reflect the energy of our multicultural society, and we will reflect the complexity of Britain back to itself. The question is that what Channel 4 does? And that's something else we look at when studying the media. So just to end on, we've got some key facts. Public service broadcasters produce content without the sole intention of profit. So as I said, they're not solely driven by profit, which means they can appeal to a more niche audience. Independent producers contribute to this creativity and variety by providing niche products that often act as the alternative to the mainstream. And these socially diverse patterns of ownership support a more varied and adventurous media landscape. And Cumberland and Seaton say about public service and independent broadcasting, diversity is in the public interest, and it really is. But modern societies suffer from collective attention deficit disorders. The public interest has to work harder to be noticed, and we need agile but resourceful media to do that. Basically, what they're saying here is we have so much to choose from when it comes to the media. How does an independent or a public service broadcaster get noticed in amongst all of the stuff that is produced by the massive media conglomerates? And just as an example, this is something that we study and we are studying in the A-level media. As part of our study, we look at film marketing and advertising, and we explored two different film products, Black Panther and I, Daniel Blake. Black Panther coming from a huge conglomerate, and I, Daniel Blake being produced by an independent production company. Two very different films that we look at. If you fancy it, have a watch of I, Daniel Blake. It's a really good film, especially if you don't generally, if you only really watch mainstream films. It would be great if you could have a little look at something a little different. It's just one of the tasks that we do. And finally, just a quick chat about coursework. So here is some examples, or here are some examples of the coursework produced by our students last year. This is the magazine part of the course. So they produced the two front covers and the two double page spreads. And they also produced two music videos to go with them. And this is something that you'll be doing on the course at the end of year 12. I hope you've enjoyed the presentation. I hope it's whetted your appetite a little bit for media and that you'd be interested in joining us next year in September. Thanks for watching.